is the first in a series that I'm producing on makeup for the mature beginner. That means you've never worn makeup before, or it means you're like me and you wore makeup for many years and then you kind of stopped. And when you started again, nothing worked. You had your old makeup, you put it on the way you used to do, and it just didn't have a favorable outcome. This is the series for you. But I also want to say, if you are a beginner and you're not mature, there'll probably be a lot of tips in here for you. So I'm going to be touching on things that I think anybody can benefit from if they're kind of stuck. They're wearing makeup, but they're not getting the effect they want, or something isn't working for them. So stay tuned. Today we're going to do eyes. So what is the difference between young skin and mature skin? Because mature skin types can be oily, they can be dry, they can be smack down the middle. But mature skin has been on this planet for a longer period of time than young skin. So that's what differentiates us, right? Because you can be young and have oily skin, and you can be mature and have oily skin. But those of us who have been walking the earth a little bit longer, I'm 60, we've been exposed to the sun more than people who are younger. Also, we have less elastin and collagen than people who are younger. So we have sun damage, right? We have dark spots or redness from getting a little bit too much sun or not protecting ourselves on a daily basis. We also have wrinkles. We have less plumpness because we don't have the collagen and elastin that a 20-year-old has. And our eyelids get crepey. And those are all challenges for older skin, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Today, we're going to do eyes though. So I have on, my skincare and my sunscreen, but I wanted to start shooting while I had really good light, and then I'll cut away and put on the rest of my makeup for a final look. Many women have hooded eyes. We wouldn't think that from Instagram and from YouTube, but most women have hooded eyes, and hooded eyes can be very challenging to put makeup on, and deeply hooded eyes feels like it makes our eyes look smaller. I am hooded, as you can see, and everybody's hood is a little different. There's a million different kinds of hoods. Some people are really heavy, just in the center, and some people, they show their lid a little bit in the front, and then they get heavy on the end. I have a little bit of lid, just a teeny bit right here, but pretty much I'm heavy lidded, and this lid goes down. So lower lash line here, this lid goes over that, where there are people who don't have that, and they can be hooded and still do a wing liner. For us, it's kind of hard. I'm going to post right here a link to my liner for hooded lids video, which was very popular, and maybe that will be helpful to you if you're looking to do a little bit of a wingy dingy. But we're going to do shadows, and I'm going to do two different kinds on this side and on this side, and I bought this just specifically for this video. This is a trio from Smashbox. I played with it yesterday, and it gave me the best effect. If you are a mature beginner or you're coming back to makeup, I highly recommend you keep it simple. And we will do another video where we talk a little bit more about brushes. Pull out your old brushes if you have some. If you don't have some, you're going to need a couple of brushes. I pulled a few here. You don't need to get these, but there's a reason for each of them, and I'll go through them as I apply. So I have a brush that is similar to this by Hakuhodo. This is from What's Up Beauty, and the number is R104. And I have nothing on my lids except for, there could be moisturizer or whatnot. I'm going to take a big fluffy candlestick, and I'm going to pick up this light shade. Now these are a little bit powdery, but they work very, very nice. And I'm going to put this on most of the lid. I'm not going to get right under the brow bone. And this is going to be a base for me, because if you have crepey lids, I find using a sticky base, it makes it impossible to blend anything, because we are crepey. It's already challenging. Get everything dry with a nice neutral color like this, and you're a step ahead of the game. going to do that to the other side and just get it all over. Now, if you're using a palette that doesn't have a cream color like this, it's too bad, really, because not only are they good for doing what I just did, but they're great to use when you're blending out a color, so it has a very smooth transition into the brow bone and it's not a line. But you can also double dip in here and in here if this is, for instance, too dark for you. If you don't have something like that, you could go in with something like this, the Kosas powder. They come in different colors and it's lovely. It works in the same way for me, but this has much more pigmentation. Or the Charlotte Tilbury powder, some kind of powder, preferably not loose. You want to use something that's pressed. Now, I personally keep a handful of brushes right here flat on my table, and I have a lot of other brushes behind me in little containers. So I'm not going to pull out everything, but you certainly don't have to get these brushes, but these are what work for me. This and this. This is a squirrel. And a squirrel is softer, it picks up less, but it blends things really, really nicely in a gentle way. And this one is synthetic, made to behave like a squirrel. This is a little bit pointed, and this is a little bit rounded. This is probably my most used brush. And I'm going to go in with this one, and I'm going in with this color, and this is going to give me shadow. Shadow and light is what it's about. If you ever took art class that got into life drawing, you know. I'm kind of feeling, where is my socket? Because I can't see it. Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it. And I'm going to lightly transfer some powder where my socket is. I'm just dotting it on. And then I open my eyes to look to see if I can see some of that shadow, and I can. I'm going to wipe off the brush because it's more difficult when you are a beginner, or if you're not a beginner, if you put on too much shadow, you're going to be there for a lifetime blending it out. Sometimes you can go in with a Q-tip and take some off, and it's incredibly frustrating. Better to add. And now I'm just softly going to go back and forth and blend this out, pulling a little bit onto the eyeball, but what I really want to do is find some shape here. So now I'm going to the top and blending super, super, super softly. And this is going to be a daily look kind of a thing. So, do you see the difference between this eye and this eye? It makes all the difference in the world, even though it is subtle. But when I look at this eye, all I see is my hood. Now, I'm going to re-dip, and I'm going to pull out a little bit. Now, I'm pulling out another mirror because I'm going to use a technique that sometimes we need when we're crepey. But I'm going to pull this out a little bit and give myself a teeny bit of a wing. I'm going to lift everything up. So first I want to pull. Every time I use this mirror, I wish I had tweezers in this room because I'm seeing stuff. And I'm only pulling very, very lightly because I'm crepey. And I'm kind of pulling this out, as you can see, up to the eyebrow. Now, it's a little bit darker than everything else, and I'm going to go back in and make everything else a teeny bit darker. And pulling that lid. I don't want to go too much darker, honestly, so I'm just going to pull and work on a nice blend so it doesn't look too much darker over here, and spend a little bit of time with it. Now, you could always do a one and done cream shadow and swipe it all over the place and call it a day, but not all of us want to do that. Sometimes we really want to have some eye makeup on that does something to change the shape of our eyes. Now, the shape is a little bit strange right now, but that's okay. I'm going to go back into the cream and work on that. First, I'm lightening it up. I really hope you can see me at the edge where it's kind of dark. Pull, make everything a little bit more taut, and just spend time. I know this sounds obvious, but you'd be shocked if I told you how many times I didn't do this. Put your brush where your shadow is, you know what I mean? Sometimes we just mindlessly zoop, 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 and I'm like, why is it not blended? Because you didn't hit the spot that you wanted to blend. Okay. Now I'm going in with a darker color, and there's a couple of different brushes you can use with that. I have many pencil brushes. This is a soft one made out of squirrel. I have several from Refer that are made out of goat, and any of those would work. It depends on your eyes. Or you could do something like one of these, really, really small brushes. I'm going to go in with the pencil brush, and I'm going to go in with the darkest shade now. And make sure that you got your shadow all over and knock off, otherwise it will fall in your face and you're not going to like it. I really don't think you'll like it. Pull taut again just a little bit, and I'm placing this at my lash line as if it is a liner without the difficulty of using a liquid or a crayon liner. And very, very soft look. So if you have small eyes, you'll probably enjoy this over a crayon, and certainly over a liquid, because it has a very soft, soft look to it. And doesn't this eye look more defined and bigger? Pulled out a little bit. We're going to do brows in the whole bit, the makeup, and you'll see the final look, but all you'll need to do after this is perhaps line, for me, the skin under this lash line is exposed. I think it might happen as we get older, but I don't like this look, so I oftentimes will put a liner right in here called waterline. This is the best I've found, you guys. I've tried things where people say, oh, this is great for the waterline. It's not. It kind of falls down, and in a couple of hours it's gone altogether. But I wish they made this in a softer color. This is a brown and black color, and I would love to see maybe a gray color or a brown color. And this probably deserves its own video. This looks scary, but it's not. I just open the eye and place it in this area. I hold it closer to the lashes than to the eyeball and squiggle it in. I'm almost going to pull it all the way up to the lashes, so it's in between the lashes as well. So when I'm done, some of my skin may still show, but it's going to give you the look of fuller lashes without putting any mascara on. Again, comparison. Alright, now we're going to do something different on this eye, and it depends on what you want. It depends on the shape of your eye. This one might work a little better for you, what I'm about to do, where I tend to prefer doing something like this for me. And that's largely because my outer hood is so hooded. I am going to take the same Hakuhodo brush, but again, you can use something that is a smaller brush, but not super small. That's the idea. If you get yourself a big brush for this particular thing, it's going to be a little messy. It's going to be hard to get what you want out of it. And I'm doing the same thing. So where is that socket? Here it is. So I'm going to lay it down where the socket is, but I'm not pulling out. And I look straight ahead. Can you see that shadow? Yes, you can. I'm going to go back and forth and blend that out so nicely. And do the same thing higher up. And then open the eye while I'm finishing to see what I'm doing. And make sure that I'm getting the effect that I want. And the only way to do that is to do some work with your eye open. I do that on both, but I'm not pulling out. I'm almost doing a half moon. So I stopped here when I first applied, but now I'm going to bring it down and almost do a half moon. If you have deep set eyes, you don't want to put any dark color right here. If your eyes are kind of far apart, this is good. And if your eyes are close set, you don't want to do that. So this is all about the shape of your eye, back and forth, and very, very different look. I feel like this eye looks a little bit more rounded, which I don't want because my eyes are pretty small. Where do my eyes end? Right under my arch, but I've seen people whose eyes go to the end, you know. Because my eyes aren't that big, a round look I feel makes me look like I have a wider face, and it makes my eyes look a little bit smaller. So the shape of the eye really matters. This is my preference, but this might be your preference. Again, I'm going in with a pencil brush and taking the darkest shade and doing a little bit of lining. And when I do lining, I stop where the hairs stop. So this is around where my lashes stop, right here. And this is for every day. Not that I don't bring it all the way in from time to time, but for an everyday look. Take a moment, you know, look from eye to eye and think about what will work better on you. Sometimes you won't really know until you pick up a palette like this and sit down with some brushes and play around and see what looks better on you. Now I'm going to stop the camera. I'm going to do my under eyes. We will do a video on under eyes. I'm going to do my brows. I'll be doing a video on brows. Going to do my foundation for sure. Going to be doing that. In other words, I'm going to do the rest of the face and show you the final look, which will give you a better idea. What's going to work better for you? Which do you like better? And that's when I make final touches. That's when everything's on. I'm like, this is too much that, this is too much the other thing. That's when we do the changes. Now, I got to my concealer and I thought, really, this could be part of eye makeup, but I will talk in detail when we're doing concealer. But you may choose, depending on the shape of your eyes, when you get your concealer going, to use it to lift up. So I've already blended mine in, but I always do lift up like this. It really helps to turn the eyes up. My eyes actually do go up. How do you know if your eyes tilt up or not? I think a lot of people are confused about that. This is the simplest way. I don't have a Q-tip in front of me, but take something straight and put it right at the corner of your eye. And if your eye ends over here above this level marker, they tilt up. If it's below, they tilt down. And if it's the same, they're just straight. So the concealer really kind of matters. Again, because I'm hooded, right here, this darkness is below the center where these two, the upper and the lower lid, come together, and I don't want it to be below. So I take a look where it's too low. It's right there. Lift the eye and go in with the concealer right there. Just very lightly, and boom. Now it's a little bit more of a straight line instead of going down like a little triangle here. And this eye, you already saw what we did. So this is more lifted and helps to elongate the eye. I'm going to continue on with the rest of my makeup, and I'll come back if I have other tips. All right, you guys, I did my liner up here, which I didn't do on camera. I've done my foundation, some blush, a little bit of bronzer, certainly some powder, and some lips, and my brows. And looking in the mirror here, I feel like, I think I like this one a little bit better than this one, which is what I often turn to. Another thing that I might want to change, and you might want to change, is do I want this right here to be a little bit lighter? My eyebrows are different from side to side, of course in the shape, sisters but not twins. I think it's more like cousins, really. But also there's a different amount of room on each eye. There's more room on this eye than on this eye. So I might want to take a little brush. This is a rougher, another pencil brush, and this is the 03. And Refer's a great place to start, you guys. I'm going to post right here a couple of my Refer videos. I think I have 2. And I just explain what I do with each of the brushes. But right here, I'm going in with that lighter color. Let's see if I might like that better. I do. It's just like drawing. It's just that you're doing it on your face instead of a piece of paper. So, very different shapes. Also, something that's going to give you a different shape is your mascara, remarkably. I have pulled out 2 favorite mascaras. This is the Push-Up Lashes from Charlotte Tilbury in the color Dream Pop, and this is Ilia. This is, I think, called Fullest Lashes, and this to me looks like false lashes. I also find that the Westman Atelier looks a lot like this one, and they're both clean, but this I need to use. So I'm going to show you, and I hope you'll be able to see, what a difference your mascara can make, and how do you want to choose your mascara. This will go over here. I have longer lashes, I think, on this side than on this side, so it may not be very fair. And I'm just starting at the tip and rolling up, and not do too much. I just want to get all the lashes, but I don't like to do 2 coats. And just shaping them a little bit. Hello. And this kind of changes everything, right? Now, I'll show you this one, which I feel I get a very natural look. I like a fluttery eyelash. This is strange. You can use it any way you want to, but it's flat. And apparently the idea is you take the flat part and coat the lashes, and then you take the cone part and pull it through. So we're going to do that. If you're blind like me, it's a little tricky. So now I have it on, and now I'm just going to comb it through. And I feel that this mascara just leaves me with a very fluttery, natural look. And this color especially. 2 different types of mascara, 2 different looks. And it's up to you. It's really, really personal choice. I like a natural look, but I have this because sometimes I like a big, fat look. And you guys, that's going to wrap up the first video for makeup for mature beginners, starting with eyes. I think there's probably room for me to do at least 1 more eye video. I want you to leave a comment down below and tell me what else you want to see in the eye area, because I know so many women are hooded and we are underserved, and there are certainly tons of people doing videos for hooded eyes who are not hooded, which aggravates me, probably aggravates you, or who have these screenshots where you're like, wow, what a huge difference, but she's doing it at a different angle and she's not really all that hooded. They're kind of false advertising. I want to offer you something that's really going to be helpful. So let me know down below what else you want to see in the eyes, and that's going to wrap up today's video. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. I really, really hope it was helpful. Consider giving this video a thumbs up if it was, and maybe even follow, at least for the rest of the series. Until we meet again, I'm wishing you good health.